Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, as food prices continue to soar in Ghana, economists are suggesting several solutions to address the crisis. Details as they recommend reducing the appetite for imported products, pursuing domestication, and refocusing the function of the National Food Buffer Stock Company.
I think the way we have used our National Buffer Stock leaves a lot to be desired. The primary aim for which we set it up, I think we have abandoned it.
We'll tell you how some traders are now forced to sell one tomato for 5 cedis.
Second, 1,002. Can't get on 700. And last week you were by 800. This week almost 1,002. 1,002. Transportation, my.
Afternoon, locked up investment holders forum back to picket in the finance ministry 3 weeks after Deputy Finance Minister failed to meet them over their demands.
Still waiting for him to call the meeting that was promised. We didn't receive any response from the ministry, and that is why we are resuming the picketing.
We are live at the Finance Ministry for more. Plus, Finance Ministry urged to clear its arrears of 2.4 billion cedis owed the National Health Insurance Scheme.
I think this is very important. We've been working with the Finance Ministry to obviously release the outstanding debt.
We'll hear from the Health Committee of Parliament, which says failure to release the funds will have dire implications on the operations of the authority. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is at the Nana Aisha. Please to stay for details. The Locked Up Investments Holders Forum is picketing the Finance Ministry for the second time in 3 weeks in demand for their locked up funds at NDK Finance and 3 other deposit-taking institutions. The group had hoped to meet Deputy Finance Minister Stephen Amoah, who was short of meeting them to address their concerns when he received their petition on their first picketing day on May 15. The meeting has since failed to materialize, prompting the group to reconvene at NDK Financial Services. Dr. Edwana Neentri is the lead convener of the group.
At the ministry, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. Stephen Amoah, came to us and promised that they were going to get back to us. We didn't hear from him until Tuesday, the day before the next picketing, which was, we are going to do the next picketing on 22nd. So by 12:20, I had sent a letter to the police that the picketing was coming on the next day, which was the 22nd. Then afterwards, I got a call from the minister, Deputy Minister, Dr. Stephen Amoah, that the ministry has planned to meet us, but he has some official travels to make. So,
but did they give you a date?
We should let him travel and come. He's returning on 27th. So when he comes back, he would arrange for us to meet. Because of that, we decided to suspend the picketing from that 22nd and also 29th, because if you are traveling and you are coming 27th, it will be too close to 29th. So we suspended it for 22nd and 29th. By 29th, we haven't heard anything. Then last Thursday, I sent him a text message, one by WhatsApp, one by SMS, and said to him that we are still waiting for him to call the meeting that was promised. We didn't receive any response from the ministry, and that is why we are resuming the picketing, because we suspended it to give chance for the minister or the deputy minister to have that meeting with us. If the meeting is not coming on, then there was no need still holding on to the suspension. So that's why we are resuming the picketing today. And if once we have resumed today, we'll be picketing every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. If they want to meet us, we will meet them on that Wednesday. The Wednesday that we are on picketing, they have every right to call us and have whatever meeting they want to have with us. So I think the meeting is still, there's chance for them to still meet us. Since we are coming here every Wednesday, we can schedule a meeting on a Wednesday that we are picketing, and it will be okay.
But what are the demands again?
For the Ministry of Finance to make financial provision to enable the Bank of Ghana to revoke the licenses of NDK Financial Services, SIC Life Savings and Loans, SDC Financial Services, and Bond Savings and Loans, which Bank of Ghana has stated that they have become insolvent. And under the law, when a company has become insolvent, a financial institution has become insolvent, the law requires the Bank of Ghana to revoke their licenses. In fact, the law says if you foresee that in the next 6 months, a bank or a financial institution will become insolvent, start the resolution processes now.
Let's get more from the picketing, where the locked up investment holders are currently waiting the Deputy Finance Minister to meet them. Kenneth Jesse is there for Joy News. Kenneth, what is the situation right now? Have the pensioners been heard by the Finance Ministry? I mean, the investment holders.
DK Finance and 3 other deposit-taking institutions. Let's engage them to really gauge the mood right now. You're live on Joy News. I spoke to you the last time that you went to the Finance Ministry. Has anything changed?
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's even worse, because when we went there the last time you spoke, the Deputy Minister, Dr. Stephen Amwa, said he was traveling, and then when he comes back, he will get back to us. And since he came back, today is the 5th of June. That was last month. Nothing, no text messages have been sent to him. He has not responded. You see, it doesn't show respect. It doesn't show respect in the inch. Nothing has changed. It's even worse. At least respond to the message, and then you will know that you are dealing with the issue. But silent. I don't see why we are going in Ghana here.
Okay, thank you. Let me talk to another person. You were also here the last time. You are here again today. He tells me that nothing has changed. Same from your end?
Well, something will change. Something will definitely come to fruition. Well, that's how demonstrations and that's how struggles are carried out. It doesn't come on a silver platter. It takes continuous struggle. And we believe that they will not listen to us today. They will not listen to us tomorrow, but they will definitely listen to us before the elections.
Tell me, how long have you had your money at NDK Finance?
4 years now. 4 years now. I was taking the interest, and all of a sudden, they stopped. After 1 year, they stopped. They couldn't tell me anything tangible. The investment I had to put it into something else has now come to zero. So it's 4 years now, and I'm struggling to retrieve my money. Even if I'm getting the interest and the principal is still there, I'll be fine. But nothing is coming whatsoever. Nothing. And here's where we are. That I have to mobilize my people, many people that I know, friends, loved ones that are invested in NDK and other places, to come and join this struggle. It is a struggle for our survival. I'm 54 years now. I don't know how long I'm going to struggle to start life all over. So we are on this journey for our survival.
Do you mind telling us the quantum of money you have saved with them that they are feeling?
Well, it was 500,000 Ghana cedis. 500.
How long ago?
That's 2020.
That means, as at now, your money has even depreciated, right?
Well, that's at last time. They reduced it from 29% to somewhere around 19%.
A Cameroonian malariologist and emeritus professor of immunology and parasitology, Professor Emeritus Rose Leke, has advocated for increased investment in malaria programs aimed at eliminating the killer disease in Africa. She expressed optimism this would contribute to ensuring the effective implementation of the programs through effective partnerships among African countries. She was speaking at the opening ceremony of the Science of Defeating Malaria Leadership Development course at the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Sokode, Lokoy in the Volta region.
The Science of Defeating Malaria Leadership Program Development course aims at preparing aspiring malaria leaders. It is designed to provide individuals working to eliminate malaria with the knowledge to develop and direct malaria programs. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Lydia Ziato, believes the leadership course would play a significant role in eliminating malaria in Africa.
This leadership course, I believe, presents opportunities and for other people to carve their research path in the area of malaria towards eradication. And we are looking forward not only to this week, but to future in terms of research grants, adjunct positions here in the university, being part of our story as in assessing our students' thesis or promotion dossier, mobility on leave, sabbatical leave, come here, let us work together.
The Presidential Advisor on Health at the Office of the President of Ghana, Anthony Asari Insia, underscored that Ghana has made some progress in controlling and eliminating malaria.
We can do it. Cabo Verde, a small African country, gave us much needed hope at the beginning of this year. All it takes is to have the continuous efforts of each one of us here present as scientists, researchers, educators, advocates, and policy advisors. We believe it is possible. That is why, as a country, we recently unveiled the National Malaria Elimination Strategic Plan 2024 to 2028 under the theme, Zero Malaria Starts Now, launching Ghana's path to elimination. Ghana is on the way, and we are hopeful that by 2028, we shall eliminate malaria.
A Cameroonian malariologist, Professor Emeritus Rose Leke, opined that a multi-sectorial approach and increased investment in malaria-related programs would help Africa eradicate the killer disease.
Recognizing that malaria elimination requires collaboration across sectors. It's not just the Minister of Health. Like Fred said this morning, you would take education, finance, climate change, agriculture. You really have to go through, it's multi-sectoral, not just the Minister of Health. And next, talking about investments, it was asked that there be increasing in health sector investments, to improve whether it's the infrastructure, the personnel, the program, implementation, and so on. But we need to increase investment and more to increase investments at the local level. That country should raise up funding to get in with this gap that we are finding. We need local funding also coming.
100 delegates from about 32 countries in Africa, Europe, and the Americas converged for the one-week Science of Defeating Malaria Leadership Development course. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
Let's stick with health because the acting programs manager in charge of non-communicable diseases at the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Efuakome, has urged Ghanaians to make medical checkups a regular routine to prevent future health complications such as hypertension. She explains during medical checkups, health professionals are able to identify hidden or underlying diseases and provide relevant medical assistance to avert complications. She made the call in Kintampo during a visit to the Regional Health Directorate. Anna Sabet has more.
Hypertension is the leading cause of cardiovascular diseases. Nevertheless, most individuals in developing countries are unaware of their blood pressure status. Here in Ghana, The prevalence of hypertension in adults is reported to range from 19 to 48% across rural and urban communities, making it the most predominant outpatient condition in the country. More worrying is the fact that about 2/3 of Ghanaian adults with hypertension are unaware of their status and so are unable to take appropriate measures to manage it. Dr. Ifua Kome is the acting programs manager for non-communicable diseases at the Ghana Health Services. She says the country recorded a total of 600,000 cases of hypertension between 2022 and 2023.
When we look at our OPD data, the number of people who come with hypertension keeps going up. Averagely between 2022 and 2023, across the country, we reported about 600,000 cases of hypertension. People coming to the health facility because of hypertension. Now, these numbers continue to worry us because we call hypertension a silent killer. It doesn't give you any symptoms at all. So by the time the person starts feeling a headache or palpitations or something like that, the hypertension would have gone on for a long time. That's how come we get the what a shocks gone too soon, because people are coming into the facility with a stroke, which is like at the end of the spectrum.
Here in the Boone East Enclave, the region has seen a steady rise in its hypertension cases from a figure of 18,293 in 2020 to 26,318 in the year 2023. This puts the region's prevalence rate at 3.7 as at the close of the year 2023. Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng is the Regional Director of Health Services.
In 2020, the total number of cases that were recorded as having hypertension in Guinea was 18,293. For 2021, it was 21,790. For 2022, it was 23,392. And then for 2023, it was 26,318. So if you look, 2020, it was 2.8. 2021, it was 3.1. 2022, it was 3.3. And 2023, it was 3.7.
He says having a sedentary lifestyle and the high intake of salts and alcohol contributes immensely to the rise in hypertension cases in the country.
One of the things that we know that the way that they take salt is too much. So one, let's reduce our salt intake. Secondly, so this is good for people who don't have, and it's also good for people who have. Secondly, physical activity, because sedentary lifestyle. We don't engage in any physical activity at all anymore, no. It's important that you engage in, and we are not talking about going to run 100 meters or 200 meters. We want it to be an activity. You can walk briskly, non-stop for 30 minutes a day in your house. Lastly, let's avoid excessive alcohol intake.
Dr. Ifua Kome, however, admonished the general public to endeavor towards having routine checks to enable them know their statuses early.
People assume that we are walking about, we look so strong, so we cannot be sick. It is now that you are not sick that you need to check and screen. Get a medical checkup done once a year. I don't think that's too much cost when you compare it to getting a stroke and how much it will cost you financially, emotionally, psychologically, plus productivity also goes down. So it comes as a huge burden that we should encourage people to check.
Okay, thank you so much. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Kintampo.
The Health Committee of Parliament is urging government to liaise with the National Health Insurance Authority to find ways of clearing its arrears of 2.4 billion cedis to the scheme. It is emerging that the Ministry of Finance owes 8 months of revenue arrears to the National Health Insurance Scheme. This represents arrears of contributions the Finance Ministry has failed to release to the NHIS from July 2023 to February 2024. The scheme has been under financial constraints in this fiscal year, making it difficult to honor its financial obligations to its service providers. Let's hear from the NHIS boss, Dr. Dokasta Boaje, on monies owed the authority. He spoke on PM Express last night.
I think this is very important. I mean, we've been working with the Finance Ministry to obviously release the outstanding debts. So we did reconciliation of the funds that were supposed to have come to the NHIS and how much releases.
Funds from?
The Ministry of Finance.
I mean, funds from the collections done
from the collection.
Based on the various sources.
Yes, from the various sources. So we did the reconciliation, and we noted that actually they owe us 2.4 billion, as was spelled out by the chair of the Health Committee. So we had a meeting with the Ministry of Finance. Then they obviously asked us for a plan to pay.
So state contributions, the premium payments, all that is specified in law that the finance ministry collected that haven't been paid to you?
No. So, you know, the NHIS is the one that goes to the consolidated account. That is the money we are talking about.
So that's the money you're talking about? Yes. The National Health Insurance Levy?
Levy. That's the money we're talking about. Because that's what goes to the consolidated.
So that has been collected. It's gone straight to the consolidated account, but you haven't received it?
We haven't received all of it. So when we did the reconciliation, in fact, this was last week. We just finished the work last week. And they are gradually making their, obviously based on the schedule we came, based on the schedule we did, they've made some commitment. So today, Parliament also called us, and they have committed to paying all these outstandings. I'm sure the plan is for them to clear it by September, and they will fulfill it.
So they're giving you a roadmap?
They've given us a roadmap to clearing these debts.
By September?
By September.
So some other news. Amidst escalating food prices the country is experiencing, economists are suggesting several strategies to address the crisis. They are urging government to minimize reliance on imported products, promote domestication, and redefine the role of National Food Buffer Stock Company. With food prices continuing to climb, families are faced with a tough choice of either going home empty-handed or cutting down on their meals. Retailers and wholesalers are now urging the government to address this pressing issue. We'll begin in the Ashanti region, where our correspondent Emmanuel Bright-Kwaku provides insight into how people are dealing with these challenges.
Prices of almost every commodity on the market has seen an astronomical increase. Rice, oil, milk, whatnot has increased on the market. We are here at the Kejetia and Edu market to interact with some traders, wholesalers, retail marketers, and even buyers to find out how the commodities, the increase or astronomical increase on some of these commodities is biting hard on their pockets.
Just this morning, I came to buy rice. When I returned to buy another, they said they have increased it by 50 Ghana cedis. The prices increase at least thrice in a day.
We say 20, 16. A brochure. But I'm on auto the Mabusa and auto a tongue. You don't quite long journey. But over far, I say 50 bars. What do I get you to 30 bars? And so.
First, they said to Sikaso so come there, but they said they ekite Sikaso come there.
They promised to make things better. We have money, but we cannot buy anything. I have to add the cost of transportation to the items.
But they say money is 7.3. They say me quite something to go 8.3 because me in and out. And my intimate Tom, not yes, someone team one bonus Ghana there. I want to learn a baby best.
You see, we
are incurring losses. We have no money now. People come here and return without buying anything because they may have budgeted for a particular amount, but when the prices are increased, they cannot buy anything.
Do you think the government is not doing enough to ensure that our commodities on the market are well priced for everybody to consume?
What I can say is that
I can't blame the government. Like, I can't put everything on the government, but they should try their possible best to do something about it so that the prices will go down. I have this wholesale manager to interact with him on how the prices of the commodities keep changing even within a day.
The dollar is not stable as at now. The dollar keeps increasing, and you know, most of these rice that we're selling here, they are not locally made. It's imported. And then one thing I was told to is like inflation has gone high, and then duties, I think they have increased it from 11% to 20%. And if that is supposed to happen, it means the price of the commodities will also have to go up.
You rightly mentioned that you are importing some of these items from outside. Why are you not purchasing the locally made ones?
This is not the only place. You can go around different shops. You not get the locally manufactured products there. It's not in the markets. It's hard you come by them. Yeah, and then that one too, I was told it keeps increasing. Though it's manufactured locally, but the price also keeps increasing.
So we have been interacting with some buyers and marketers, and even those who retail sellers here at the PZ market right here at Edum, and they have been telling us how the prices of commodities on the market is adversely impacting their business, and they are hoping that the government can actually do something about it. Reporting from here at the PZ market in Edum, my name is Emmanuel Brightcook.
We've been speaking to some traders here in Accra, and they told my colleague Rejoice Peso they have no choice but to increase their prices.
Second, 1,002. Now, I turn 700. And last week, we buy 800. This week, I'm 1,002. 1,002. Transportation, my kaya yo my. Until say, "Who can in our woman?" I say, "1,003." Your fan work to cook, and I said, "Dominance." Until Sanet, and until say, "Nanka, rubber near 50 cities." So say 60.
The sack of onions used to be 700 cedis. Just this week, it is 1,200 cedis. I think this is due to the transportation cost and the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar.
My drink 20. Kitwane 10. They say 100 cedis. Because no bonus. Where 40, where 60, Emma Green. Kokona ne boy them. Me to be because me will say ne boy.
I don't buy much because of the prices. The amount of money that can be used to buy the sack of pepper a few months ago can only purchase half a sack today.
Basket no, wait, your basket be a yellow blue basket Emma. And no son no, I must say 11 million. Until 11 million me tobacco, no machim, no matumbi, and the channel masatu. Said a bay in Yamika.
Rubber near 150, and I weigh near 80. Weigh 50, weigh 30. Once in so I turn to S and a man wide. Navrungunuko. If Bakunus or the 2 and poto.
I wish we could add value to the Ghanaian tomatoes because the ones from outside the country sell faster. That is the cause of the cedi depreciation.
But towns can be black, come be man, so now wow, man, so now is it can work from to Besa is it can be black or Geo Mudeno. So a man boyade
pepper to whatever. And we can't make it. We're just struggling to buy little for the house. Before I come to the market to buy once a month. Now I can't. Every 3 days, every week itself I can't. So we hope for the best when the rain stops.
How does it affect the quantity of food that you prepare for the family?
It's unfortunate. Family of 2. It affects it though because if like I like a gravy. Because I don't like canned tomatoes, I like the fresh tomatoes. So it's affecting me well. So we have to reduce the size we eat, we take, and the size we buy to squeeze ourselves to see whether it will last for us.
When I bought our vegetables, I cut them, so tomato, onions. I was just asking her, I think they found nice way of selling to you without you realizing it. So instead of increasing the prices, they reduce the quantity and they're taking you the same thing. So I think it's one of their strategies of making sure that people don't complain. But definitely we will know the difference. Yeah. I mean, if I come and the quantity has reduced, I would definitely know. So I was asking her about why the numbers. They used to give me so many fingers. Now it's just a few of them. Yeah.
Agricultural economist Professor Robert Edu is recommending a reduction in imported food and redefining the function of the National Food Buffer Stock Company.
So on the production side, we cannot overemphasize the importance of irrigation. We have left our farmers to just do the little that they can. And at the end of the day, when there is no rain, they just stop. And we all suffer at the end of the day. And so government has to revisit the policy of helping farmers to farm throughout the year by providing small-scale irrigation infrastructure. It will really, really go a long way to help. Again, let us improve the storage. And here I can make specific mention of the Buffer Stock Company. You see, if you go back a little and you look at the history surrounding the formation or the rationale for forming a National Food Buffer Stock Company, the essence is to try and mop excess food from the market and keep it so that in periods like this, when we have a lot of scarcity on the market, buffer stock could release food onto the market. Unfortunately, I think the way we have used our national buffer stock leaves a lot to be desired. The primary aim for which we set it up, I think we have abandoned it. Now it is actively supporting the school feeding program, which is okay. It's also supporting other initiatives, which is fine, but maybe we need to talk to them for them to refocus so that they don't actually participate in the market and compete with people who are doing business in the market. Buffer stock, by its formation, should intervene when farmers have produced and the prices are very low and they are not comfortable with it. Then it takes it out and pays them something that helps them to cover their cost.
We're still live on JoyNews Today here at Joy News in our studios in Kokomlimle. Let's take a break. When we return, there is more coming your way from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment on Joy News Today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Stakeholders in the supply chain industry have cited the lack of trust between academia and industry as a major hindrance to the development of an effective supply chain network in Africa. Addressing the media at the 4th Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa Supply Chain Research Summit, Director and Research Component Co-Lead Professor Nathaniel Bonso called for effective collaborations with industry and academia to ensure an effective supply chain system which can boost across a trade in Africa.
The Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa, CARISCA's 4th Annual Supply Chain Research Summit being held in Accra, aims at exposing Africa's supply chain researchers to global standards by connecting them to global platforms in the sector. It also hopes to build capacity of African researchers to forge sustainable partnerships with industry. The summit is hosting over 150 presentations with a congregation of more than 500 researchers from across the world. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Nathaniel Bonso, Director and Research Component Co-Lead at CARISCA, cited the lack of trust between academia and industry as a limitation to the development of the sector.
There is currently disconnection, right, between academia and industry. And that disconnection, I think, comes from lack of trust of industry for academia. So You go to industry, you hear comments like, oh, the things that we do in academia are theory. It doesn't really make sense to industry. Then you come to academia, you talk about this issue, they will say, oh, the industry people are not willing to share data, information with academia. Therefore, how do we understand you if you don't share data? So you see the cycle of problem that is going on here.
Executive Director Professor Dale Rogers outlined the role of CARISCA in bridging the knowledge gap.
The talent of the people here is second to none because of how difficult and how resource poor African universities are. The African universities tend to be, in general, a little bit behind American and European universities, but I think there's a real opportunity to continue to improve. And you know, since we started CARISCA, the purpose of this summit is to bring top scholars from around the world to help teach young African scholars how to do research, how to publish.
Here is Lydia Kiburu, Group Director for Business Transformation at Equity Holdings, on how technology can be leveraged for an effective supply chain system.
Resilience. We need to look at the resilience, and some of the drivers of these gaps include our infrastructure. We need to look at building our infrastructure, improving it so that we can remain interconnected. Another one is how we integrate technology and close the digital divide. Some of our markets, we see that we have resources, but we do not have the capability to add value.
The theme for the 3-day summit is Africa's supply chain resilience for economic transformation.
ECOWAS Presidential Representative to Ghana, Ambassador Baba Gana Wakil, has called for concerted efforts to help the youth wean themselves off the unemployment market by acquiring digital skills. According to him, the days of relying on government for employment are over. He was speaking at a 10-day ICT training for some individuals. Here is a report. The training program, sponsored by the ECOWAS Commission in Ghana, is to help participants acquire skills in web and mobile app design. According to the Residential Representative Commission, Ambassador Baba Gana Wakil, this has become necessary due to the growing population in the sub-region and government's inability to provide jobs for a greater part of its able workforce.
Governments can only provide the enabling environment. Our population is growing, business is growing, it is going digital. Once you acquire this skill, you don't have to rely on government. You can create your own businesses. You can create your own businesses. With your colleagues and friends, you can come together and open shop. I mean, just like the people who sell sportswear, you can actually open a digital shop. So this is why we are now focusing on this. And the other reason is that youth unemployment has also been a very, very big factor in the increase in transnational crimes, increase in drug addiction, and a host of other increase in terrorism, because our unemployed youth just find themselves as a fertile ground for recruitment by terrorists, by human traffickers, by drug traffickers.
Ambassador Wakil also emphasized the costly nature of the unemployment menace to the sub-region.
The productive component of our demographics, of our population, is engaged in drugs as a result of youth unemployment. And this is why the training that we are doing here this morning becomes relevant. It teaches part of the youth population in our sub-region, in Ghana and in all the other 14 member states, how youth can develop the skills to be able to create their own jobs without relying on government jobs all the time. Once the youth are engaged in something that they could do for themselves, then the tendency to drift towards drugs and trafficking and all those other transnational crimes is greatly reduced.
Some beneficiaries of the training shared their expectations.
Looking at the rapid change of the global economy, I think, like the ambassador said, technology is now the cutting edge. And so we, the youth, has a role to play. We want to be part of the drive in global development. And so this is a great opportunity for us to all be on board. I thought the things that I look forward to now is that to know how exactly to hold and now to develop the software as well. COVID-19 told us a lot of things, made us realize that we can be in our comfort of our homes and do a lot of things.
And that's it for Business for Now. I am Pius Kojo Baka.
And let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, the Black Stars will hold their final training session later today ahead of the crucial game against Mali in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The players are determined to bounce back from a string of 5 winless matches, a disappointing run that weighs heavily on the mind of former Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan.
The most difficult thing is to handle a team. True. Because of different mentality. If it's like an individual thing, like a boxing, if I'm me personally, with my personality and how I am, if I'm a boxer, I can predict that we will run. But a team, yeah. You are not in the squad. You see individual players doing well in their clubs. Yeah. Great players, but when they come together, that is where you cannot predict. I will speak like a fan, a Ghanaian who is hoping the team to win.
Which is what you are now, basically.
Yes.
Really.
So I can say, hey, you're best sure because I support Ghana.
That's right.
But I don't know the caliber of the team, how they are going to perform. Yeah. You know, if they prove to us in 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 games consistently, whether win or lose, like their performance, actually, we dominated them, but we lost. That one, you can have the confidence and say, oh, Charlie.
This time, yeah.
But honestly speaking, our performances recently has been
wishy-washy.
Yeah, wishy-washy. So the consistency is the most important thing. So we all have to hope for the best. How they're going to approach the game in
To women's football, and 23 coaches from the various national teams are undergoing a 5-day training program led by expert instructors from the French Football Federation. This initiative stems from the partnership between the Ghana FA and the French Embassy in Ghana. Abdul Karim has more in this report.
The 5-day-long event started on Monday and will conclude on Friday. Speaking at the opening ceremony on Tuesday, the French ambassador to Ghana, Jules Amand Anyambosu, says his outfit is partnering the GFA to train women national team coaches because they have the same vision to develop women's football.
So, we are Ghanaian and French very involved, very excited, very committed in this program. A few weeks ago, the Black Princesses were at Clairefontaine for a week. When they came back, they won the African Cup, and now today is a key milestone. It goes to French coaches from the French Federation of Football. They came from France to Ghana to have 1 week lesson exchange with the Ghanaian, the coaches, but also the technical staff of the Ghanaian female teams. That's something we need to not only continue working on. It is a journey, and the result could inspire the other African countries.
President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okriku, says the training is necessary because they want to align all newly appointed coaches of the recently created national teams.
Well, I think that this program is very key to the development of female sport. I have said on numerous platforms that getting such platforms is the only way we can grow the sport. Getting platforms like this to exchange knowledge, to impart knowledge to our coaches is a key part of our agenda. I have said at various football meets that two need areas of our football ecosystem are coaching and refereeing. And therefore, we place a lot of premium on the development of the game via these two channels. So I'm extremely happy about the opportunity coming from the Football Federation of France.
And that's your sports on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Thanks for watching.
Time now for showbiz, and this year's Emancipation Day in Ghana has been officially launched. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Agyeman, reveals this year's celebrations will take a different turn, focusing on the redevelopment of tourism facilities in Ghana that celebrate our ancestors' struggles and accomplishments. My colleague Jacqueline Ansomaya has more.
Emancipation Day has its roots in the Caribbean, commemorating the abolition of the chattel slavery in British colonies on August 1st, 1834, and has become an annual event in Ghana, a symbol of freedom and unity for people of African descent. The celebration in Ghana started 24 years ago. This year's theme is Unity and Resilience, building stronger communities for a brighter future. During the launch yesterday, the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Agyeman, revealed plans to redevelop tourist sites, including the Salaga slave market, to commemorate this year's Emancipation Day.
Since 1998, so this has been 26 years since the celebration, and this year we decided that instead of focusing the celebration only on Accra and Cape Coast, we are relooking at the redevelopment at the various tourist sites that are part of the Slave Roots project. And so currently we have work ongoing at Salaga, the slave market and the slave wells, at Pikoro, the slave camp, and coming all the way through Tanoboase, Bonomanso, Asim Praso, and Asim Manso. We are basing it on what we call the 4 C's. 1, to celebrate the courage of our ancestors who fought relentlessly, determined to survive. Because if you look at the journey from, let's say, Pikoro through Asim Manso and Cape Coast, on road, on foot, it's not something that probably a lot of us could survive. But it did survive to produce presidents and world leaders for us. We also want to celebrate the community of African diaspora. And more importantly, also celebrate our culture. The culture of Africans is dynamic.
Professor Esi Sutherland Addy also revealed that conversations on Emancipation Day over the years has been low and more education needed to be done.
Even though we've been celebrating Emancipation Day in Ghana, it seems as if the message hasn't gone down, especially among the youth. And so work has to be done to make sure that people get a firm understanding of why it is important for us to celebrate those who fought for the emancipation of the people who were sent to the Caribbean by the British Empire, and also to understand that, you know, this is an economic decision that the British made. And we have to ensure that we get up from under the oppression of the global economic situation which we are in, because we are still at the bottom. And so even though emancipation was 1834, we are still struggling.
The celebrations will take place from July 22nd to August 1st, 2024, under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, with an array of activities. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansoma Yeboah.
And that will be it for Showbiz. That's how we also wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.